Welcome to Riverside Unified School District's annual History Day competition and awards ceremony. I'm Carolyn Power, RUSD's History Day coordinator, and I'm so glad you're joining us today. We're going to begin this ceremony with the flag salute. Leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance this afternoon is Gretchen Lau, a junior from Martin Luther King High School. Please join us from your homes.
Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Gretchen. Just like everything else about education, History Day has been so different this year. Every project had to be 100% virtual, including exhibits. Group projects had to be completed over Google Meets or Zoom, including performances. And unfortunately, there are no special awards this year. So in this year of pandemic, I am especially thankful for this community of parents, teachers, administrators, and judges who have made it possible to hold a History Day program. And I'm so very proud of every student who submitted a project. To the parents, grandparents, and guardians, thank you for supporting history education with your students by giving them opportunities to participate in competitions like History Day. I know your Saturdays are precious, and this isn't the only Saturday you've spent involved in History Day. Students, turn to your family and say thank you. Give them hugs too. It's okay, your friends can't see you. I cannot express how deep my gratitude is for the teachers who have taken on History Day in this absolutely crazy year. Thank you for advocating for deep historical research and inquiry, even when you sometimes teach to a sea of dots. I'd also like to thank members of Riverside Unified School District's Board of Education for their support of powerful educational programs like History Day. President, Mr. Tom Hunt, Vice President, Mr. Brent Lee, Clerk, Dr. Angela Farouk, and members, Mrs. Kathy Alavey and Mr. Dale Kinnear. And now a few words from Board of Education President, Mr. Tom Hunt.
Carolyn, thank you for that introduction. Yes, I'm Tom Hunt. This year I'm the president of the Board of Education here at Riverside Unified, and I'm also here to, on their behalf, and that of Dr. Hanson, our superintendent, to thank you and to welcome you to History Day here February the 6th. Such an important recognition of our young people that have been involved in that and learning and putting their projects forward, and recognition of the fine teachers that have advanced them as well towards National History Day. You know, history it says if we don't study history, we're doomed to repeat it. And what other time in America right now, with the George Floyd and the other beginning to move forward on Black Lives Matters and how this complements and conflicts in our nation is more important. It gives us a perspective on where we're going and where we've been. It also develops leadership for us. Many of your RUSD leaders and staff have been going to what is called the Gettysburg trip back east, and where we study the Battle of Gettysburg, which has great lessons in how to be a leader and how not to be a leader, and why the South leadership actually began to lose the war because they didn't listen to each other. And it's fascinating. Did you know that the Indian chief that first greeted the Pilgrims, that got the Pilgrims through that cold winter when they were dying, starving, that same Indian chief, his son, who was a little kid during that time, his son is the Native American that oversaw the first insurrection, the first attack on settlers, because things had changed. We need to look at the real history, and that's really important right now, to look at the real history of America. And we need it to understand what happened, and with the Jim Crow era and how Lincoln's assassination and all of that started that, the history of the civil rights, just to look at the African Americans' role, and to understand someone else advances our relationship, and that's where history is. I'm a big history buff, and I look at it though to teach me better leadership and perspective. So that's what we're doing. And with the teachers and faculty and staff here at RUSD, we're moving young people forward. And again, in Tom Hunt's opinion, there's never a more important time for us to be understanding the history of this nation, where we've been, and how we can go forward. I appreciate what everybody's doing, and it's exciting. In the past, we've had young people go all the way through state championships, and it wasn't that few years ago. My daughter graduated in 2009. Right there, a young man and his partner, RUSD students, came in second in the United States on their History Day project, which was about how the unions affected the movie industry in the early days. That's exciting. And that helped that young man and another one to get into some really, really fine schools here, because they want those kind of folks, perspective and learning. So remember to look at your history and learn about us. Look at your Riverside history. What a great city we have and the way it was founded. Polly's graduating class last year was the 134th graduating class. Look at the history of Riverside. You'll be inspired about your hometown and the history of RUSD. We go back that far. Think about that. So look at that. Remember to be unified. That's what it's about right now. Our district and our community, and quite frankly, our nation. Thank you for all you do, and God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Hunt, for highlighting the importance of understanding history. History Day students, you have spent many hours researching, interviewing, discussing, building, writing, and editing. Another way to put it, you've spent hours becoming historians in preparation for this competition. The study of history is at the intersection of humanities and social sciences. Humanitarians study the human condition, while social scientists ask questions about human place in society. Historians bridge the two areas by delving into the people and societies of the past. They want to know why people made the decisions that they made and how those decisions have affected later generations. For the guests out there who haven't been living with History Days since August, this year's theme is communication in history, the key to understanding. Students, you know this theme in the very fiber of your being because you've spent the last 5 months with it interwoven into your conversations, invading your thoughts at the oddest times, and perhaps waking up with new ideas about how to proceed with your project. The National History Day theme book indicates that communication is about how words, thoughts, and ideas are exchanged throughout history. You guys have taken that on wholeheartedly. Some of you have analyzed the impact of communication technology through your investigation of the telegraph, the camera, or the internet. Others have shown us how pop culture can improve society by tackling hard issues like racism through the mediums of puppets, movies, and cartoons. Still others have looked at the sinister side of communication to discover how propaganda can be used to move a people toward war and against their fellow human beings. What is clear from the diversity of your projects is that history is in everything. It is our context as people and societies, and context determines meaning. The benefit of the hours you young historians have put into your projects goes far beyond a district, county, state, or national competition. While it's always nice to win, the greater benefit is in applying what you've learned to your own lives. You may have learned to sing in the face of hardship like those who were enslaved did, because music speaks to your soul and moves others to action. You may have learned to stand up to inequality like the suffragettes who used their bodies to protest the injustices of disfranchisement. So students, historians, whether you move on to the next level of competition or not, think about the people you've studied, the lives they've lived, and the moral strengths you can add to your own lives based on what you've learned. In addition to the great knowledge you're taking away from this experience, all RUSD History Day students will receive this awesome t-shirt for their participation. Students who are moving on to the Riverside County competition will receive medals, silver for our junior division and gold for our senior division winners. You have already learned so much throughout this competition. So without further ado, we're going to move on to the part you've been waiting for, the awards. For each category, there are 3 winners who will move on to the Riverside County History Day virtual competition, which will be held March 12th. These winners will be announced in no particular order. We also select one alternate who may step in to fill in the spot if one of the winners cannot continue to compete. All students who will be moving on to the Riverside County competition will need to attend a mandatory meeting on Monday, February 8th at 3:45 p.m. You'll receive a meet link in your email. Let's get this awards show started. The first category we will award will be documentaries. Junior Group Documentary. There are no alternates for this category. The winners are Spike Lee, Communications and History, Grayson Vargas and Jaslyn Gill from Riverside STEM Academy. The Navajo Code Talkers, Hajin Nam and Violet Chang from Amelia Earhart Middle School. Vincent Van Gogh, Impacting Art Communications, Isabel Alarcon and Peyton Evans-Lee from Matthew Gage Middle School. Junior Individual Documentary. The alternate is Alexander Hamilton, a founding father, soldier, writer, and more. Lorelei Larson from Riverside STEM Academy. The winners for Junior Individual Documentary are Vince Forward and Forever Free, The Emancipation Proclamation of 1863. Connor Julian from Matthew Gage Middle School. Singing in Slavery, Songs of Survival, Communication, and Freedom. Viviana Perez from Matthew Gage Middle School. How AOL Changed Communication in the 21st Century. Athena Hernandez Woods from Matthew Gage Middle School. Senior Group Documentary. There are no alternates for this category. The winners are The Treatment of Immigrants Coming to America. Aiden Bryce Hudson and Gretchen Lau from Martin Luther King High School. Media and the Internet. Communication in the Midst of Natural Disasters. Elizabeth Park and Hyun Hee Park from Martin Luther King High School. Senior Individual Documentary. There are no alternates for this category. The winners are Communicating with the Aliens in Our Seas, Understanding Dolphins. Swanan Lee Biggs from Poly High School, virtual program. WERD, a platform for communication within the Black community. Sage Kafka from Poly High School. The next category we will award will be exhibits. Junior Group Exhibit. The alternate is The Pony Express, Ariana Soto and Isabella Soto from Matthew Gage Middle School. The winners for Junior Group Exhibit are The Camera, Communication Through Visuals, Arya Patel and Camila Castillo from Riverside STEM Academy. 6888 Keeps Communication Moving in World War II, Jordana Duncan, Madison Duncan, and Maya Marmolejo from Matthew Gage Middle School. Morse Code, Communication Through the Telegraph, Yubin O and Zainab Mapara from Riverside STEM Academy. Junior Individual Exhibit. The alternate is Women in World War I, Addison Snyder from Matthew Gage Middle School. In no particular order, the winners for Junior Individual Exhibit are Smoke Talks, Madeline Waddell from Matthew Gage Middle School. Women's Suffrage, Why Protests Are an Important Form of Communication. Xiomara Buon from Matthew Gage Middle School. The Navajo Code Talkers, The Unrecognized Heroes, Soraya Martinez from Matthew Gage Middle School. Senior Group Exhibit. There are no alternates for this category. The winners are The Communication Failure That Aided the Sinkage of the Titanic, Daniela Rivera and Montana Rocha from Poly High School, virtual program. Senior Individual Exhibit. There are no alternates for this category. The winner is New Innovations in Communication, The Use of Propaganda During the Cold War, Jacob Hargett from Poly High School, virtual program. The next category we will award will be historical papers. Junior historical paper. The alternate is Communicating Dreams, Communication in the Civil Rights Movement of the 1960s. Gershon Bajwa from Amelia Earhart Middle School. The winners for junior historical paper are Forms of Communication During the Free Speech Movement. Aubrey Packer from Matthew Gage Middle School. Jimmy Carter's Confidence Crisis, Communicating Malaise or Warning. Danielle Lerma from Amelia Earhart Middle School. The Miscommunication of Rosalind Franklin and the Discovery of the Double Helix. Amanda Gibson from Matthew Gage Middle School. Senior historical paper. The alternate is The Telegraph and How It Led to the Victory of the Civil War. Alyssa Acosta from Pauley High School. Virtual program. The winners for senior historical paper are Wounded Knee Massacre. Araceli Andres Diego from John W. North High School. The Evolution of Breaking Barriers Between the American People and Their Leaders. Jessica Manalo from Martin Luther King High School. Power of Communication, The Impact of Media on Religious Equality Within Vietnam. Sonia Rana from Pauley High School. The next category we'll award are the performances. Senior Group Performance. There is no alternate for this category. The winner is Sesame Street, Communicating Knowledge Through Puppets and PBS. Avery Hansberger, Danielle Cabrera, and Catherine Savage from Martin Luther King and John W. North High Schools. The final category we'll award are the websites. Junior Group Website. The alternate is The Midnight Ride, Jack Wasserman and Samuel Bonzume from Matthew Gage Middle School. The winners in Junior Group Website are The Selma Protests, How Visuals Communicate Meaning in the Civil Rights Movement. Cadence Esterling and Nadia Chioffi from Riverside STEM Academy. The Culper Spy Ring, The Spies That Won the American Revolution. Kyle Killam and Owen Weems from Riverside STEM Academy. The Assassination of Franz Ferdinand, Brianna Kungu and Yunshu Zhang from Riverside STEM Academy. Junior Individual Website. The alternate is Anglo-Irish Treaty of 1921, In the Midst of the Irish Revolution, Kiara Tobin from Riverside STEM Academy. The winners in the Junior Individual Website category are The Telegraph, Morse Code and Their Use by Abraham Lincoln to Help Win the Civil War. Cora Holmes from Riverside STEM Academy. Standing the Test of Time, Egyptian Hieroglyphs. Riley Meyer from Central Middle School. Elizabeth Cady Stanton, A Lifetime of Powerful Communications. Baran Meftahi from Riverside STEM Academy. Senior Group Website. There is no alternate in this category. The winner for Senior Group Website is Stonewall Riots, How It Paved the Way for the LGBTQ+ community to vocalize their struggles. Bianca Bursis, Delaney Fanoga, and Lexiana Hernandez from Martin Luther King High School virtual program. Senior Individual Website. There is no alternate in this category. The winner for Senior Individual Website is The Letters Between Harriet Glickman and Charles Schultz, A Key to Integration in the Media. Nathan Lee from Martin Luther King High School. This concludes our 2021 RUSD History Day Awards ceremony. Congratulations to all the winners. Don't forget to attend the mandatory meeting on February 8th at 3:45 p.m.